You know, when you think of Sega games, what comes to mind? Maybe Virtua Fighter, the Sonic Trilogy, plus Knuckles, Daytona USA, etc.? I mean, Sega was amazing back in the 90s with their 16-bit fast-paced style video games, and they were a worthy competitor to Nintendo, and they both battled it out in the greatest video game feud of all time. However, that's not important. I want to take this opportunity to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic is undoubtedly Sega's most popular mascot. He goes down in history as one of the most popular video game characters of all time, up there with Mario and Solid Snake. He was one of the few things about Sega that made even the most hardcore Nintendo fans turn their heads. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is often regarded as the best in the series and made everyone buy a Sega Genesis. It had colorful visuals with beautiful 16-bit graphics that offered fast gameplay, or blast processing in this case, and a great soundtrack. Bottom line is, Sonic is a franchise. Of course, like most franchises, it has its fuck-ups, and this thing is no exception. I mean, don't get me wrong, the idea of putting Sonic into a 3D environment is a cool concept. However, doing it on Genesis is a bad idea. Evidently, Sega was trying to achieve the same thing that Nintendo did for the Super NES by making a game with 3D animations. However, there is one fact I want to share with you. Graphically, the Super NES and the Genesis are tied. Even though the Genesis really is faster than the Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo has more RAM, colors, and on-screen planes. Also, the resolution of the Super Nintendo is higher than the Genesis. The SNES is 512x448, while the Genesis has 320x224. Anyway, enough of that technical bullshit. I'm just stating the facts. Well, I might as well get it over with. Thankfully, this game is not heinously bad, but let's not jump that far yet. Without any further ado, let's do this. Oh boy. Here we go. First off, the cutscenes look okay, but that's the least of our problems. So here's the gameplay. First off, let me say that the graphics are good for a 16-bit game. However, here's the thing. This game was also released on Sega Saturn. It's literally the exact same game, but the ground texture and the graphics on the Saturn version look better than the Genesis version, but that's not important. Second, the visuals are pretty good. It seems like that this game can be a great game, but what ruins it for me is the fucking gameplay. The controls suck gorilla testicles. First off, when you jump, it can be frustrating, especially when you have to jump into a ring to save the Flicky Birds and advance to the next stage. Also, the way to use Sonic as a spinball is by pushing the C button. Why the fucking C button? Whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, it can become a problem when you try to jump with the B button just to get onto a platform. Seriously, the controls are fucked up. There's nothing else I can say about this game. I mean, it's one of those games that doesn't even need a long review to talk about. Besides, you want more shitty Sonic games? Let's get to them. How about Sonic Blast on Sega Master System, which was also available on the Game Gear? Ugh. Oh, God. This game moves slower than a piece of shit traveling out of a turtle's asshole. I mean, the controls aren't bad, it's just that the frame rate is slow as shit. Although personally, I think this game is playable, it's still a poor man's version of Sonic. Shit, I almost forgot. What about Sonic Labyrinth on the Game Gear? Like Blast and 3D Blast, there's not much to say about this game. In fact, the controls are much worse than 3D Blast. Moving left will make you walk down to the left and vice versa. Moving up and down makes you walk diagonally, so it can be very confusing. Long story short, it's basically an 8-bit 3D Sonic 3D Blast with even worse controls. End of story. Next, let's take a look at Sonic Shuffle on Dreamcast. Ah yes, the Dreamcast. The final Sega console, and a great one while we're at it. Anyway, Sonic Shuffle is basically a party game in which you take control of any of the Sega characters like Sonic, Tails, Amy, etc. You roll the dice, and each character moves a certain amount of space like a board game. After each character takes a turn, you get to play little mini games that one character must win in order to gain more range to win the entire game. Does this sound familiar? For all you Nintendo fanboys out there, this is literally Mario Party. The only difference is that it's Sega characters. What a bunch of fucking rat shit coming out of Shrek's anus. Damn! Needless to say, this game is complete ogre shit. Last game, Sonic R on Sega Saturn. Sonic R is basically a racing game where you take control of the Sonic characters with only one goal, win the race. It seems like that this can be a fun game with an original concept for Sonic, but what ruins it for me is how ass the controls are. The time it takes to turn around is like waiting for a minute hand on a clock, and you keep slipping and falling off the damn tracks. What the fuck? You can do a double jump in the race, but that doesn't help much at all. Sonic usually flies all over the place. Overall, Sonic R doesn't completely suck ass, but the game is still hard to control. In my opinion, it's mediocre at best. Well, that does it. And just to clarify, I know there are some bad Sonic games that I didn't mention, like Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06, but those will take me a long time to review. I'm basically trying to keep my finances under control, but enough of that horse shit. All I can say is that even though these games are mediocre, it doesn't change the fact that Sonic is one of my favorite video game franchises. Through the good times and the bad times, it will always have a special place in my heart. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this shitty review of these miserable pile of bird shit games. This is your friendly neighborhood Reptile, signing off! I gotta go take a major shit.
Reptile seriously thought that he can avoid me. Little does he know, I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I'm more powerful than ever! Do you want to know who I am? My name is Crowdra.